By a show of hands, how many of you have ever been asked, what do you want to do with your life at least 1 or 2 times? I see several there, here, many hands. Me too. Perhaps at this point I should carry a business card that says, still figuring it out. Or imagine this. You're sitting at a family dinner. The food is great, the conversation is light, until someone turns to you and asks, so, what are you going to do with your life? And suddenly your brain freezes, your heart races, and you just want to escape. They lay here. In what university are you going to? What job do you want to have? Maybe you want to start a business. Or for 10th grade students, AP or AB. Especially our families trying to persuade us to follow their paths. But we rarely listen to ourselves. The older we're getting, obviously the more responsibilities we have, and we're facing more and more of those topics each day. To be honest, I realized that we focus so much on what we should do that we forget what we actually want to do. So today we'll share how the pioneers of tomorrow aren't the ones with perfect plans. They are the ones who take actions even when the path isn't clear. Let me drive you a little bit into my background. When I turned 13, I had a lot of changes. I left my home and lived in 2 countries because of the environment in my country. After switching schools and online courses, I started taking English seriously, namely, writing down every unfamiliar word I heard or read. I also became curious about the maritime industry, just to understand how things move across the world. And then came another idea. What if I try selling something, make a profit? Why not to start a business? So I started. I have been selling clothes by using a dropshipping method. I didn't have a lot of sales, but actually this experience taught me about the overall process and values of the customers. I understood that time is marching on extremely fast, so I believe you, especially teenagers like me, dedicate some of our free time in order to explore something new, and more importantly, enjoy it. If we like the new thing, we may ask ourselves, am I learning it just for fun, curiosity, or do I want to connect this knowledge with my future job, for example? We have to try and learn new things, because to achieve anything, we have to start doing it. Later on, I realized something really important. The first step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. When you follow your own interests, it can lead you to big opportunities. But here's when the question pops up. How can we use our interests? We all want and even sometimes have this idea inside us. Oh, I got this idea. It's a great idea, And you get all excited, you get this feeling in your stomach. Then you search in Google and see that nobody's doing it. Then you're telling it to your friend and she says that's a brilliant idea. But what happens next? Many people just stop. Many people are afraid of doing something as they may not be sure or they don't have time. But others found the way. No one will know till you start doing something. When I was thinking about earning money, I sometimes had ideas that had been rattling around my head and I felt I couldn't organize them. That's why I used a mind map. As when you see something inspiring or come up with an idea, it's actually easier to organize and connect it. So in my case, I just took a blank sheet of paper and drew my first mind map. To be honest, it wasn't really perfect. I just put some ideas like names Steve Jobs and the companies like Apple and Google. That's why my first money from the dropshipping was $15, just enough to buy a fancy sandwich in London. I can't forget holding my phone, refreshing my wallet just to see that I received not a bad sum. That was incredible. As I said before, I wasn't in a full flow, so I quit it. But today I understand that you should never quit what you enjoy doing, or we would just put our dreams on a shelf and forget about them. Here's the good quote. 1 day of doing something equals 1 month of planning it. Don't wait for things to happen. Make them happen, as only you have the power to make your dreams come true. Now, here is something we all know so well. Mistakes. Whether it's messing up in a test, saying the wrong thing to a family member, or even taking the wrong path, we all make them. We are growing and knowing how much effort, even failure requires to do something right. But let's put it that way. We are human beings, not robots. And to make something better, we need to go through things again and again, learning from our mistakes each time. Let me tell you my experience in sports. For 11 years I trained karate, collecting over 115 medals and 8 cups, but also facing just as many losses. Each time I lost, sometimes my emotions were stronger and I didn't want to continue. Professional athletes could know that feeling, right? But many people helped me to come again and again on tatami. That's taught me that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Let's consider Jamie Oliver, one of the UK's most successful best-selling authors and one of the biggest stars on TV. In 2019, his business collapsed, making him closing 22 restaurants and making 1,000 workers redundant. He said, when it was all going wrong, the business was full of holes and there is nothing we could do with it. It was a huge failure, but nothing has stopped him to raise his business back in 2023, opening even more restaurants with his open cooking school, which made him a multimillionaire. Take Simon Squibb, who was homeless at 15. Instead of giving up, he built a business, sold it for millions, and nowadays he helps people to find their dreams. Or Elon Musk, who was bullied as a kid, had no money when he moved to the US, so he slept on his office floor. These people weren't born lucky. They were just determined not to stay where they started. They put a lot of effort into reaching their goals. So what is effort? As for me, effort isn't just about working hard. It's like planting seeds every day when you don't see anything growing yet. But one day, you look back and realize how far you've come. Only your effort will show what you're worth and deserve. You can do everything if you have a courage, enthusiasm, and effort. And if you want to achieve your dream, you'll even accept to sleep on your friend's sofa, cross 100 or 1,000 kilometers, take 2 jobs, make a lot of mistakes, and make the next steps for your final destination. And here's the thing. Nothing is perfect. If we really want to build something big, we need to feel it. But what do you mean by feeling it, you ask me? I'm talking about starting poor. You definitely heard about some successful entrepreneurs who didn't have a really thriving childhood. And actually, I just mentioned them, by the way. Most of them went through poverty in their families, or even were kicked out from their houses. And some of them started exploring the world when they realized they could only rely on themselves, as mother and father wouldn't help them. These moments were a tremendous lesson for them, as they didn't want to bargain for money on the streets and spend their whole life in poverty. That's when the inspiration with necessity combines, as survival mode kicks in and we start thinking wisely. I'm obviously not telling you to pack your bags and say bye to your families, but we can pay at least attention to basics like how much money you need to spend. Do I need premium on YouTube, or is it better to watch ads? Some of them really suggest good courses. Sometimes small things we ignore can teach us the most valuable lessons. While effort and resilience are key to making progress, there is something else that can make our journey: communication. No matter how hard you work, how great your ideas are, if you cannot express them, connect with people, or build relationships, you're just limiting yourself. As I said before, about 2 years ago, a lot of things changed. I had just returned from living abroad, and everything around me felt unfamiliar, even people I used to talk to. My friends from school also moved, and they rapidly changed. Some of them started smoking, drinking, and hanging out in bad communities. I remember checking my chats with people I used to talk to. I understood that we're not meant to go through things alone. We're growing, and we understand how much we need to share ideas. You know what? You have the opportunity. At school, you have a myriad of people who can help you, from teachers to psychologists. People can ask you how it's going, and it pushes you to keep doing it, at the same time building the confidence. Don't be scared that someone will tell that your idea is stupid or unrealistic. Trust your gut feeling. Nobody should agree with you. No one must love your hobbies. But there are millions who have the same ideas or struggles, and for them, you can be a right person. As for me, a pioneer isn't just someone who invents something new. It's anyone who dares to take the first steps, who isn't afraid to fail, and who is motivated. Being a pioneer means choosing action over hesitation, curiosity over fear, and progress over comfort. And the truth is, nobody's going to come up to you one day and say, hey, here is your dream life, fully packed and delivered. That's not how it works. You have to start. You need to be able to leave the comfort zone. So let me leave you with this. Don't just dream and plan. Do. If you don't kickstart your own future, someone else will happily decide it for you. You have the power to make your dreams come true. And as Mark Cuban says, it doesn't matter how many times you fail. You only have to be right one time, and everybody will call you overnight success. All the way to the bank. Thank you.
Take it for granted.